Good job, to be honest.
So I told the swamp donkey to suck it.
I know you're gonna say something. I feel like before every show starts, I'm about to say my motto, and you pitch in some shit like that.
Yeah.
Welcome back after 2 weeks. No, three, because I had to do stuff. 3-week break. This is Left Right Cab. I'm Tanner Hall.
I'm Travis Pajoli.
I'm Greg Ruther.
And this is I'm Jake Rudder, full of cheese and crackers in my mouth. This is a debate show that isn't really a debate show. We talk about all the current events, pop culture, history, philosophy, anything that makes us sound smart, and then we get stupid with drinking a lot of wine. Cabernet, always, as in the title, and some amount, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but there's cheeses in front of us to complement the wine. Sometimes wine tastes better with certain cheeses, or is it cheeses taste better with wines?
We actually have 5 cheeses. We have 5 cheeses tonight.
We do. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to kick that.
One of them isn't a newcomer, but the other 4 are.
One's a local one.
2 of them are local.
Which other one's local? Okay,
So the top 2.
This one's like
We had it originally.
This is gonna be gone by the time.
Yeah, before the show started, we were
Crushing it.
eating some of them, and I think pretty unanimously, the top 2, also 2 local cheeses. One from Mystic Cheese Company.
Finback.
Mystic, the Finback. The other is, and I've gotten a lot of cheese from them before, it's Cato Corner, and I think it's either East Hampton or Colchester. It's like right on the line. This is the aged Bloomsdale, which is a like 2 or 3 more years aged version of their Bloomsdale, which is like a saltier kind of thing. It's real nice.
So if you want Connecticut cheeses,
Shout out to both Mystic Cheese Company and Cato
I
Corner.
mean, we have like the best rated cheese company like in the countries or the world, really.
Which
We
one?
do. Arthusa.
Arthusa.
where is this? I've lived this state all my
It
life.
is-
What happened?
It is it's in Fairfield County, or no, Litchfield County.
That's so far. No wonder. Fucking.
Yeah, it
Okay,
is-
for
it
those
is
of
in
you who
the
don't know
middle.
the layout, it's like there's a famous meme of Massachusetts. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
This is like
Here be dragons.
everything's Boston, and then everything else is here. Ye be dragons or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Everything's
Litchfield is up there with the dragons. Like
Yeah, it's not super accessible. It's a lot of farmland and it's a lot of woods. But Arthusa, they have a blue cheese which has been like world renowned as one of, if not the best blue
It's
cheese.
wait, is this a cheese factory or
So it's a farm.
Cheesery.
or
Dairy
cheesery
It's
like
a
a
dairy
winery?
farm.
Yeah.
So it's a dairy farm.
fromagerie.
Yeah,
I mean,
fromagerie.
it is more than that. They do a lot of ice cream. Yeah, ice cream is the other big sell.
Yo.
But the thing is, the blue
Let's do
cheese
this.
has won worlds for like
Yeah.
2 or 3 years in a row.
The Arthusa Blue has
What
won.
is kind of
so-
question?
We've had it on the podcast.
What would make we need a fromage on here? Like what would
So we learned this from.
they
we learned
have
about
access to the
this
same
place.
ingredients that other people in the world do? They're not privy to some secret information. You know, like
Yes, they are. So specifically,
outside of I'm not saying they use a secret. What I'm saying is, whatever they use in this blue cheese, these other people, it's out there in the world.
Sure.
And so
Yeah, there's no like the only secret, quote unquote, like
So
secret sauce
what-
that could be there is
other than-
what you feed the cows.
I was gonna say, what is it?
And the
More
types of
time,
cow.
more time put into the cheese, or
Well,
So
the
a
cave
bit
age
of all.
the cave age them too. So
So
the atmosphere is important.
right? I've had cave aged cheddar, really good.
yeah, Arthusa cave ages or it's like a man-made one. But certain cheesemakers will
How
age in different
much is
places
it
with
to go
different
there?
temperatures. Not a lot. You can just hop in a drive. It's just like an hour and a half.
But also,
From here,
the reason
so-
we know about it, my friend Jim Lumiere, who watched our stream one time, wanted to get him on the stream. Woof. Okay.
What was that?
The Armory Lives is Woof. Is that you?
That's me. Yeah, I was checking to make sure.
Oh,
Um,
The stream was on.
he held a cheese event for us at Epicure Brewing Company where he paired beers with cheeses, and
Yep.
the Arthusa Blue was one of them. And we're like, oh, this is an incredible blue. It's like, well, this is actually like the best cheese in the world.
Yeah, so one of the
must
things
be nice.
we like both Jake and I really liked it. We had a bit of the cheese first. We're like, oh, this is fine. And it was paired with Lightning Struck Twice, which is a stout, and I very much like that stout. Having it paired with that blue made both of them taste infinitely better than they were on
Better than some of the
we should
bugs.
go. The bachelor party should have been there.
It was on the table. It was on the table, and someone decided to not go there. It wasn't you.
Was it actually?
We were in Norwich. The rest of your friends were in Norwich that night.
Anyways.
Wait,
so
what?
Continuing on
Oh.
through stuff.
I got lost then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was talking about the cheese place. Go there for the bachelor party.
Well, that's the other side. That's the other
Yeah, it's
side.
the other side of the
State.
I know that. That's what I was saying. But then you started talking about
Yeah. Moving on.
But through that, so cheeses. There's also a jalapeno Havarti, a gorgonzola, which is like a creamy, very spreadable blue cheese.
It's a brie blue. It's a brie gorgonzola is what it really is.
And just like a standard 2-year aged cheddar. The only reason we had that is because I didn't think Tanner would like any of the other cheeses.
Actually,
so
I love 4 out of the 5.
So
I'm hoping that plastic isn't just like the loudest thing to that microphone.
it is now.
It is now. Anyway, so our wines tonight. I get to pick wines, and I'm going to choose thematically because my wedding is right around the corner. The Cabernets that there's 3 cabs. We're only using 2. Time constraints, so I picked what I felt were the better 2 for the wedding. So these are the wedding wines. We have Harvester, and the first one we're going to do tonight, Carson.
Sorry, I'm actually just going to get a bunch of these out and then just put them on the board.
Pour all of them out.
Yeah, they're going to get eaten.
You son of a bitch.
There you go. Now everyone can have some, and I can have more of this cheese.
Also, Travis just touched all the crackers. So,
Today's show brought to you by.
today's show brought to you by Triscuit Plastic Bag. Anyways, Carson Ridge. Turns out I'm a fan of Paso Robles wines. Hall Ranch, the one we did before, delicious. These two, Robles. Sorry, Paso Robles wines. And these are both also Paso Robles. And that's my favorite.
California Cabs.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, there's like different parts that from different areas, but like I don't know, something about them.
Napa Valley.
Generally. There's also the Willamette in Oregon and another river. Oh, sorry, the Columbia in Oregon. Willamette, I think, is in Washington. Somewhere over there.
So I picked these out when I did taste testing. I tasted a bunch of wines that day. These were the 2 of the 3 that I ended up picking, and I tasted them trying to put myself as Travis and Jake in the wine tasting thing, and so what would they want, because we need it to be drier because we already have sweets.
I have one question real quick before we move on.
Yeah.
What did we rate Hall's Ranch last week?
Like an 8. It was
Yeah,
7.
Yeah, we
we
said that it was pretty close to a 3-finger jack,
But not quite.
Not
Yeah.
quite.
It was up there, 7s, 8s.
Over on that sort of level.
Yeah,
It was up there, yeah.
yeah, it was definitely 8 S tier, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So Carson Ridge, ripe berry aromas, deep color, medium tannins, touch of oak, and lush mouthfeel. I do love mouthfeel. Is that a term in the industry? What the mouthfeel of a wine?
Mouthfeel, yeah.
Wow,
How
that's
it
so
coats the-
lazy.
how it
They
coats
could
the inside of
they
your
could have
mouth.
stole a way cooler French word and just.
Mouthfeel is just like a common food term too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
It
I've
is
ever
not
used
the whole
it. I
concept
don't think
of
I've
like
ever.
umami. It's
Yeah.
like
It's a
a
bit-
savory feeling in your mouth.
I've never used
Not unagi.
mouthfeel.
But yeah, cheers through.
Cheers to
Sláinte.
Carson Ridge.
Also, hasn't happened yet, but congratulations on getting married in a couple weeks. Was it broadcast live from your wedding? To a left right cab from your wedding?
It would be on. No, it's not on Thursday.
Special Saturday session.
Left right cab stream. Sure, you can do a live shot of us.
Oh, yeah,
A
the
live
phone.
feed. Can we do it from your camera and then upload it to YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do that then. It might not be live, but at least we can do it.
Yeah, a
little
little
promo.
stampy. Yeah. I have a funny thing to tell you about that day, but I'll tell you after the stream.
Did you try it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, I love the nose.
Nose is good.
I know that Jake has had some. I've never had something this dry and this juicy all at once.
Yeah, 100%.
You knew what he was gonna say. That's pretty impressive. It's like you guys are friends.
That's exactly
What
what
Yeah, like the fruit flavor comes in.
And then it just
and then
dries
it's
out.
dry.
Like the Sahara on the back of your tongue.
Which is impressive, I think.
Yeah, like I give that credit.
That's some credit, yeah.
I said for, what was it, medium tannins?
Mhm.
A little bit of oak on it.
It's like, oh, that was fruity, and then, it's just cotton.
Man.
Yeah, but it like goes through.
So it's a good way. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to vilify it. It's actually, I'm putting this very high along with this one.
It's saying it pairs well with soft cheeses. Makes so much sense to me.
Soft cheese it is.
Soft cheese it is. Is that soft cheese? Is
No,
this
we're gonna go with the spreadable
Don't do this.
Orzo. Maybe
No,
it'll
do
make
it.
it taste better.
Nope, the cheddar will always be better. It's so bad.
Pass me a softie too, please. You want the small one probably. I'll take a fatter one. Thank you.
Thanks, Kels. Oh, you did. Oh, I thought you were. Never mind.
It's not
We're-
because he said softy.
Yeah, I thought you were laughing at what I did.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm not funny. The lovely Kelsey is joining us here tonight on Northern Capital.
No Antonio.
No, Antonio.
I told him.
That son of a bitch.
It does pair.
I love this wine. I'm gonna give it a high grade. I'll go first.
I was gonna say, if you gave it anything less than
I'm
a
7. No, I'm 7.5. 7.5.
I would say that'd be a real weird choice if you.
No,
like,
it's
yeah, this is
I'm
a
trying-
5. I
yes.
bought it for my wedding.
7.5.
I agree with that. 7.5. Yeah.
Yeah, like a 7.
It's definitely like A tier for sure.
Yeah, not S tier,
I
but
put,
very much A.
I,
Like, I
put,
think
I,
that's-
I put the whole ranch, the Oberon, and certainly the Three Finger Jack ahead of this, but this is very drinkable. Would buy again depending on the price.
yeah.
I think it does pair with that soft cheese, especially since that soft cheese has nothing else but like bitterness to it. Have a little fruit
Mm-hmm.
involved in that. I think really expands the flavor of that cheese.
Don't go with the Bloomsdale on that.
Not good.
Oh, we ruined
No,
it.
I would not use any salty cheese with this one.
No, I think you want something that's not salty because it's
Right, because the salty is already dry, and then this double dries, and then it's just the worst.
So I usually never actually drink something else on camera, but
That's
Is that bad?
Wow.
yeah, almost because like I want you guys to share in on this pain.
Nope.
Salty cheese and this wine, and
Is
it
it
takes
like-
two things. It takes two things that are both very good, and then makes them worse. Like just
all right.
right at the same time. Go for it.
Like orange
Oh,
juice.
Jake, I'm so
and-
Yeah,
I'm
this
not
is
doing
like
it.
toothpaste and
Oh
orange
my
juice.
fucking god! Mm-mm.
Yeah, that is
Cheers! Not doing
that
it.
is toothpaste and orange juice level. Like
There's a reason why the Bible says soft cheeses. No.
yeah, that was. I wanted to try it because I was like Bloomsdale was very very good.
Mm-mm.
This wine was very very good.
I'm sad.
They both still are very good.
I'm sad that
just-
I ruined both those things just now.
Well, now the wine's a 4.
No joke. If I had grabbed that cheese at
And
the
then-
same time, it would have been like a 2 or a 3. That was.
I'm
that was
like,
ridiculous.
try this again. Hold on, we're talking.
It is like
you're
orange-
talking crazy, man.
When Travis said orange juice and toothpaste, he's not wrong.
I'm not
It's
doing
that-
it. Okay.
It's that harsh of a like a
It is such a.
contrast.
It is such a like
Who
a.
said orange juice and toothpaste?
Yeah.
It's Kelsey in the back.
Sorry.
You
said
fuck with that? That's gross.
I'm sorry that you said that and I misattributed it. It's definitely the case though.
But
So
that
I'm
actually,
sorry, I'm
I'm-
a stickler
I
about
am
it.
I am glad that I did say 7 originally though, because I think a good wine should be able to pair with a lot of things, or at least not have such a sharp thing.
drop to dry.
Yeah,
Fruit.
yeah,
The
that
weird-
was just like.
The weird thing
It's
about
weird.
it,
It's so weird how wine.
I think it's because of the saltiness from that plus the fruit flavor is what really made it like miss the mark.
what is that effect of like just like harsh contrast binding in two different like
Polarity.
it's like your tongue's being pulled in two different directions so quickly that it just like grosses you out.
Sure.
It's like vomit. It tastes like vomit.
Okay.
I don't think it tastes like vomit, but it's definitely a close second to it.
Yeah.
Carson Ridge, you do not taste like vomit.
Yeah,
Only when
I
you're
mean,
paired with
salty cheese.
salty cheeses is bad. But
And that's the thing. Like the wine, I'm glad I had it first by itself. It's very good. Still is very good. Would drink again.
Mhm.
Just definitely, I would be mindful about.
I don't think it needs a pairing. I think it's a good.
I think it's fine by itself.
That's the thing about this wine for sure is that because it's got that fruit forward with a nice dry finish. I think it's got this complexity built into its flavor. It's good for just drinking wine. Most
to
people,
make an 8 tier on the show is hard, and
most
they
people
did.
most
They
people
did,
would
so.
enjoy this wine. Most
Yeah.
people
This
That's
is
why we
one-
got it for a wedding, because most people
would enjoy
are going to
this
be
wine.
there. Most random people I don't talk to every day, like family members, are going to be there. So
Nice.
it's a safe bet. So now your price game. I know the price.
Is it a bulk price or is it a?
Do
Per bottle
you
price.
know what like the cost per bottle
I
is?
because I bought so much, I did receive a wedding discount for the amount of wine I could. Now that included 9 bottles of these, tons of Rieslings, everything. So
But you know the bottle price.
I know the bottle price.
Okay,
Mm.
that's all.
I know the bottle price of each.
Okay,
$17.99.
yeah, definitely. That was my. what I had in my head.
Antonio. Just kidding. Kelsey.
She didn't try it.
That's true.
Was it you,
$21.99.
There you go. You just go high.
Would you like to try it?
I'm not gonna do them justice.
Antonio doesn't know anything about wine, but
Yeah,
he
everything's
does.
a 1.
Everything is like best wine ever. 4.8.
Unless it's
I
like a
don't
Shiraz.
like wine.
Well, Travis will finish it.
Antonio likes Shirazes.
Carson Ridge.
Beforehand.
What? Oh, sorry. Yes.
We dead set on the 21. You don't have to drink if you don't want to, but it has a very nice smell.
It's a very palatable red.
Mm.
It's a red for the masses.
Oh, wow. It's like not bad.
See?
No.
Like, yeah.
Is it of the reds you've had?
This is a wine for everybody.
There we go.
This episode is sponsored.
Kelsey,
by,
everybody. Give her a round of
This
applause.
episode is sponsored by Carson Ridge.
Carson Ridge. It's not before the 15% crazy discount. Thank you for buying so much. Carson Ridge is $9.99 a bottle.
Damn,
That is probably one of the best wines per value.
we've ever had.
Yeah.
I requested.
I
said I want high quality, good tasting wine at the cheapest price, and the guy who like runs it, he's like, you.
I'd be happy.
Basically, he knows that if this body is empty or full, and even they're both $9.99. It was this, or you get a $9.99 cab from a company called Tiny Umbrellas.
I've had tiny umbrellas.
Yeah, but it's far
Real bad.
for same price for
I want
$9.99.
to say I'd pay $15 and be happy for this bottle.
Sure.
Same. Like 17 I thought was like
Bougie.
Fine.
Slightly like you're like going for the price.
So we bought like 9 bottles of these at $9.99, but then we got 15% off.
Damn.
Sure.
That's a solid bottle of wine.
yeah.
Carson Ridge.
$8.50 post.
Okay,
Wonderful.
if we're
You
doing-
like you cannot beat that.
If we're doing points per price, this is probably the best we've had.
Yeah, I agree. That's
I'll,
why when
I'll
he
still say three finger on that actually.
when he
'Cause three
that
fingers
16 is
14 to 16
is good.
Yeah.
That's a steal. This
But,
at 9
but,
is
but,
a fucking
but hold on. I want to repeat again that Three Finger Jack has never been on the podcast officially. So I go back to saying
You
this is the
can't
best-
invite God onto the podcast.
No.
He's never gonna come down.
Kanye's never coming down.
So-
He's busy setting himself on fire.
So when he did that, he goes, "Here, we're gonna try Tiny Umbrellas, and I'm gonna try this one, and you're gonna see what I mean." And I did. I was like, "Okay, it's very thin, watered down. It was okay." It's and I did this. I'm like, "Jesus!" I'm like, "If this was on the podcast, we would crush. We would rate this so high."
I want to say your palate has gotten so good,
Yeah,
Tanner.
and then all because of you guys. And I said, "This is the same price as." He goes, "Shocking, right?" So I'm like, "Yeah, load us up on this. That's great." And so yeah.
Yeah,
So seven and a half for $9.99, and then the discount top they were fantastic.
Yeah.
So our table has 6 of those bottles, right?
Just 6 of and 3 for the rest of the wedding.
It really is a wine for everyone. The mouthfeel is so good.
Yeah, like it's very fruit forward. That like when you first have a sip, you're like, "Oh, this isn't a cab." Oh wait, here's the tannins. Here's like the very nice oak taste. Whoever the wine salesman pseudo sommelier was who did the
company
solid all around.
the company they do like monthly wine training classes, and then they give each employee in the wine department 6 free bottles of wine a month. And you go home and you try them, you taste them, you flavor, you understand what you're selling, you understand when people ask you. And then also as you move up the program, the managers then go train in France for like 6 months with the company, then they fly back and all about wine and learn wine and
That's awesome.
do this stuff, and then they get even more. Then you get up to like 18 bottles in a month, and it's like, and so he's like, I've tried almost every cab in this because he's a cab guy, and he's just like, I tried them all. And he's like, for that price here, these are your best ones. And
First of all, did you mention the podcast to him?
I did. I said we do a podcast, we talk politics stuff, but we always have Cabernets. So I'm like, I'd like to think I know what I'm qualified after a year of doing this every week or so. Yeah. A
I
better.
would say yes.
I think
My
Absolutely.
palate has evolved.
Your palate is definitely better.
Yeah. Oh, we actually figured it out. Around the wedding date is actually the annual. The very first episode got posted on like the 14th or the 17th, something like that.
So your
it's gonna
your
be
wedding
close to-
is like the year, the annual
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
anniversary, and it's weird.
It's
It feels-
also
it feels-
pre-release. Everything's going on.
A very great set.
What I want to say about this wine before we move on is that there's something about this wine that is like feels like it's designed specifically to trick people into being into better wines. You know, like because
Your
it's,
sinister intentions don't pass us, Carson Ridge.
it's like trading
We
with a
see
wine.
through your
For real.
eyes.
I mean it though.
I think that if someone were to tell you, oh, I don't like cabs, I don't like dry things, and you give them this, you'll start. Kelsey's a great example of it. Like, it's
The fruit tricks you into liking something that you don't normally like.
There's also, even though it's dry, there is a fruit aftertaste if you do it.
Yeah, but it's not strong.
It's not strong, but it still like lingers.
It's not super cottony in the aftertaste, but it is dry.
It's not unpleasant. Like you were describing it, and I was worried that
For $9.99, it's
It's fucking steel, dude. I would buy this bottle every time if I saw it.
it's a ding dong.
oh, what?
A ding dong. It rings the bell.
So we have a topic that we want to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
I want to go back and forth, exchange some ideas, share some viewpoints. Travis is leading the topic tonight.
Yeah, I think because we have 2 wines and we do have 2 topics for tonight's podcast.
And 5 cheeses.
And a whole bunch of cheeses. I think it'd be good to wine topic,
Wine topic.
second wine, second topic.
I like that.
Good
Go
platform.
through them. Seems
We
pretty
did not
solid.
discuss this beforehand. That was really good.
But in honor of your wedding, we'll do.
Oh, thank you, guys. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Very happy and proud for you. Hope that you enjoy the things we bring to your wedding.
They've been kind enough to make me a mead and a cider,
Mm-hmm.
and they're fantastic. And we'll start to pitch your meadery when you guys decide to open that.
It's coming,
It's coming.
just like me.
Just like
Washington.
I was gonna say,
It's coming.
good new Kanye albums. It's coming.
It came already.
Yeah.
Oh,
Early. Allegedly.
prematurely.
But yes. So, first topic of the evening is time management. Specifically, about the very depressing nature of time management. And because I can never do anything in an uplifting manner, we always have to be a little sad about it. So, with that in mind, before shouting out answers, Kelsey, how many weeks do you think a human ever actually experiences?
What do you mean by
Like,
experience?
In the course of their entire life, how many weeks do you think that is?
You mean so like sleep?
Weeks,
Nope,
weeks comprised of seconds, I think, is what he means essentially. If you
So
forgot-
like, how many weeks does a human live on
Yep.
average?
Yep. Without Googling it.
I'm not. I'm just gonna do. Can I do math?
Sure.
It shows a calculator. Motherfucker, can I do that?
How many weeks do you think?
How many
4,200.
4,200.
When you say experience, what do you mean though?
lived?
In average lifetime, how many
Okay.
weeks is that?
Because experience, I think
So
about
we have
literally-
4,200.
I was just to do whatever the number is plus 9 months because they're.
Oh, that will go into topic number 2.
Oh god.
Um,
Whatever it is, add 9 months to it because they're technically humans. I take the right side of this argument. That was left, right cab. Sorry, continue.
You terminated this
So
topic faster than.
So there's 52 weeks in a year, right? 52 weeks in a year. Yeah, you might be in that ballpark of like 80, right? So
I did 56.
I think it's. Can I get my calculator out?
4,000. Let's just go with
Hold
4,000.
on. Please,
So-
please give me 1 sec. We'll do this.
We're
Calculator.
gonna go 4,056.
Why? See,
It's
I
doing
said
awesome.
75 years.
3,536. 30,
Ooh,
35.
do people die sooner?
68. I put 68.
73, I think, is actually the age.
Price is Right rules of 1.
I said
So
75.
Price is Right rules is actually Tanner
Yeah.
because it's 4,000
Oh, I
weeks.
kicked the
You
thing
should have
in.
kept the original at 3,900, Jake. But yes, on average, it's about 4,000 weeks. And when you think about time that way, it's not a lot. It is not a lot of time. So
3 weeks have passed since we last talked, for example.
exactly. So there you go.
And I felt like
Of the
nothing.
total 4,000, 3 weeks have already been spent here. 52
It's almost
almost
like-
has already been in place.
Point what? 0.1%?
I'm not that good at math. But
This sounds like a
One-
micromanaging thing your boss has
One-
to make you sit on. And so
No,
we have someone
over-
coming to talk to you about
over 1%
time.
of our life has been
management.
spent doing a podcast. Is what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Yes.
and
What was that?
when-
Over 1% of our life has been spent doing this podcast. Like,
Yep.
Time well spent.
How's that? 1% of our lives
Actually,
in the span of
fine,
weeks
actually.
been spent on
That
this.
feels fine, actually.
I am content allocating 1% of my
Why? Because you're doing
lifetime.
like a year.
Well, a little less.
More like I've spent.
That's a weird.
Well, no, you haven't
When did
done
you
a
do that? Did you do
consistent
that, like,
year
earlier?
of
No, so the main
podcasting.
reason why I bring it up is that there's actually it hasn't been a year of podcasting, but this podcast has been going on
For a year.
for
About a year.
1% of our lives, so about a year.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's
Honestly,
different when people think
Don't
about
break
time.
it down with your age.
Don't tell anyone who tie that.
But I feel like
Exactly.
I feel like I wasted more of my life like on lesser things in this podcast.
I mean, here's the fun one. Before you stopped playing World of Warcraft, how much
Oh no,
did your character in days?
That was fucking World of Warcraft.
that was left right cap, and Jake's gone. Jake, okay? So if we do how many years? We can do the math.
I have 450 days, something like that.
So
That's
that's
playtime.
450
of
days.
playtime.
12 years. Of
12
years.
Actually, no, 15 years.
15?
But like, don't take that out. But 450 days of playtime.
450
Yeah, I mean,
days. So that works out to being 2 years
I mean, it's
plus whatever, you know.
Plus
No,
365
it's-
days.
Oh, 365. Wait,
A year and a
You
half.
said
Year
4.
and a,
It's
year
like-
and a quarter.
It was actually like
Total
of logged in
4%.
time.
4% of my current life, not randomly. Just 4% of my life has been spent on that game.
Which is funny because if you were like before you're born and you were shown a thing and you had to throw stat points of time where you'd want, and it came down to I got 4.4% left to throw on my lifetime. And would you willingly at that point put it into a video game?
Yeah.
And more than anything else,
A massive
Skyrim.
multiplayer.
more travel.
But like, but that goes
some of
through.
my best friends are from that game. Like Travis knows people.
Oh, I
Travis,
do too.
No,
I
no,
did-
no,
I
no,
know
hear
him.
me out. Travis knows people that I met through that game. That's how
Who's
close
met them as well.
you have, indeed. All those people in Maine are people that I met through that game. So it's like
Hot damn.
there is some redeeming qualities to that.
Sure.
show.
I've met
I mean,
people-
the topic isn't about
Sorry,
you know,
time
the
management, sorry.
the finer pieces of the social element of MMOs.
But it is QOA though, quality of life. Like
Yeah, you can say that it functions as a different social sphere in the same way. The very first competitive Magic tournament I ever played in was the Champions of Kamigawa pre-release.
oh, come
And that was September of 2004. I've been playing Magic in tournaments for 16, almost 17 years.
Nerd.
Yeah.
on. Yeah, fucking nerd.
Okay,
How's that?
you caught my attention with the time management.
So when we think
So
about
what do you?
So the
advocate?
reason why I bring it up is when you hear time management now, you kind of made a snarky remark about, you know, my boss being like, how do you go and be more effective at time management? But efficacy is not actually the pursuit of time management. Like that isn't sort of, just because you can answer an email very quickly, that doesn't free you up to do other things. It just means more people will send you emails because they know you'll be the one to respond to it.
Productivity, I think, is the actual answer, right?
Not even. It's the goal of time management is to free up enough time to actually invest said time into something that enriches your life.
Why can't that be your job then?
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes. But not all careers are fulfilling in that same sense. There are a lot of people who, you know, they clock in 7:30 in the morning, they clock out 4:30. They're like, I'm done, I can leave work at home, and then that facilitates my life, or it will allow me to do the things that I find value in later.
So
I
then
believe Jake left his phone at Landrod. So
It looks like it's right there.
we can pick it up tonight
that,
after,
and there you go. And there's additional time.
or you pick it up tomorrow and Matt will get it too. Up to you.
Try,
So,
please, if it's possible.
but ultimately, the goal of time management, and really with me trying to railroad this conversation, should be about making your life as enriching as humanly possible to the degree that we can.
Okay.
Yeah. As the first question to you guys, and to Kelsey as well.
Besides how
You
many
go.
weeks someone lives.
Besides how many weeks somebody lives. That just goes to show you the true like finality of it. How many weeks do you think you actually spend sleeping?
Not putting you in charge of trivia night.
Sure.
Questions are too hard.
I mean, you know that you spend about a third of your life sleeping.
Okay.
It's about 8 hours on a 24-hour
So-
period, provided it's good.
Sure.
So 13.
8 hours, you
33
silly.
repeating.
I'm gonna say I spend 12 hours a day,
But I just said,
Sleeping.
but days 1333 repeating.
just for kicks.
Okay.
Sure. So we'll say anywhere between 1,000 to
1400.
1,400. So already you've used 25% of your life not actually living it. So really the time that you have isn't the 4,000. It's anywhere from 3 to 27.
I guess. Yeah, but
And
Wouldn't
1%
you
of
say-
that we've spent doing this podcast.
yeah, that's pretty crazy. Now I'm thinking about it.
I spent 14% of it playing Magic.
I was gonna. Now I gotta think of.
That's not true.
Yeah, I've spent
What, 12 hours a week maybe?
it's ultimately being engaged in an activity.
Mm-hmm.
The goal isn't so that you are only doing this one thing throughout it.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep is the opposite example of that, because you could also say that you spend probably close to about another 1,000 hour weeks on work, of just working to exist.
Mm-hmm.
So now your actual time that you have spent doing things that you want to do is even less than that. So now we're at 2,000 to 1,500 weeks.
Now I had work.
Well,
So
that
that's
is
50% of my
considered
life.
work.
Okay.
That is
Less than.
Oh, I
a
see.
little more than 50% of your life
Oh,
will be spent on
less.
doing things that you don't want to do.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
sleep-
sorry, I was
sleep,
going the inverse.
Functioning, and that's not even including this time that you
Household
really don't
chores.
No, I mean, some people do find value in self-enrichment through manual labor and tasks and stuff, so or chores. So I guess my initial question for you, shouldn't be 36 times 12.
It's how many hours you spend playing Magic, based on my math.
Not bad.
43,600.
43,000.
So divided by, that's how many days,
So
divided by,
365.
no, that's per week, so divided by 7. 260 days playing Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, about 1% of that overall life
Straight.
of available time.
If it was custom cube or commander, I think I could do it.
Just straight.
Straight.
Taking it into a step though, when it comes to time management, how do you guys actually engage in that to some degree for your
Actively,
own
I
lives?
mean.
Yeah, active. Because again, we're not working with, I'm only gonna do the marathon sleep schedule or the
Yeah.
Einstein sleep schedule of I sleep
So-
20 minutes every 4 hours. Fuck that. That doesn't work.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I know, I have a really easy answer.
Oh, okay.
Mine is feast or famine. Very much so.
It's just the end of the extremes. Just you're either all in or all
I
out.
hyper focus on things. That's how my brain works. So I will focus on something. That's why I think I work best in project based occupations. Is that if there's a goal, a very clear goal, I will push the fuck through to that goal. But I really, really struggle with menial tasks. I hate them. Can't deal with them. If the menial task has an end, yeah. Like doing dishes, I'm good with, because the end is right there in your face. Like you do the dishes, they're done. But fucking turning a fucking wheel that never ends does not.
So you could never work on an assembly line.
Oh, horrible. I worked in a dining hall in a dish room. That was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I'd honestly rather stab myself in the leg every day.
It's kind of weird how just personalities are different. Like there's some people who just would actually prefer the not so chaos of it and the repetition of just say over and over and over again.
So someone once told me that they very much enjoyed their routine, quasi-menial life, not life, thankfully, but
Job.
the job that they had, because they said that it allowed them to do the things that actually made them happy.
Right.
She worked in a bakery, which to me I would have loved, because I am not artistic in the slightest bit. There's no way I can go and decorate a cake well or bake anything.
But
I have no attention to detail. So
Can I say, I can imagine being in a bakery, meeting the requirements that I just put forward, though. There's a project you finish. But there
will always be cakes to bake.
Sure, but at least
Unless you're in
And wines to
Colorado.
drink and
there's some level of creativity to it, though, you know?
Very rarely. Think of it like if you were a tattoo artist and all you did was other people's art. All you did was flash tattoos.
But
How is that different from in the assembly line?
It's not. Like, but that's the thing is, she
I
found...
mean, it is different in that like you're not making the same card every time. You're making different cards.
Well, if you're doing flash tattoos, or if you're making, we have a chocolate cake that's frosted this way.
That's more coggy, yeah.
Yeah, so like I think that's to Kelsey's point.
Like
is that
like
it's,
Antonio's tattooing is not very much industrial. Is what I'm trying to say for sure.
but the industrial elements of it grind him down. He hates doing those like,
Flower,
can I get a flower or a bee? Cool.
but
There's no.
at least they're
creative-
different flowers though.
Who will know? But taking it a step further, she was constantly just like, yeah, I don't care about, like, with the life that I want, with the happiness this brings me, this job is enough. It gets me to that point. I don't need any more because I can spend my time doing other things that make me happy and enrich my life. Now, that always kind of puzzled me because I never really understood, like, no, if you just got a different job where you can work less, then you can do other things that make you happy. But then I realized that wanting more kind of falls into that time management trap before of, oh, if I could frost a cake in 4 hours instead of 6 hours, then I could have those 2 hours back. But with work, you don't. You're going to go do another task for 2 hours. You're going to get more work given to you.
With our working system, where it's like you're as the employee system for sure, you're only inviting more work. Yes.
Tanner, you're going to kind of answer the other.
How do I manage time? My time is locked. I have it's at least has been for at least the last year and a half or so. I have a set schedule. That's what it is, and there's no deviating from it. It is the same thing. It's been on rinse repeat. It's like Groundhog Day, except every week, and it's like clockwork. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm at the shop. Wednesday, I'm usually hanging out with Jeremy and grabbing lunch. Like that's what we do on Thursday. Thursday is trivia. And then every other Thursday is this podcast. I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday at my other job. I was coming down on Monday also, but I stopped. So Monday's my only day off, and it's usually just at home doing chores, and that's my actual relaxing day. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, down here. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, up there. Thursday, trivia. Thursday, here. It's been this over and over for a year and a half. Not complaining because I love the fun times like this I have, but it is scheduled. There's nothing to deviate. The only deviation I had in the past X amount was Iceland and the bachelor party at the casino. That's the only thing that's straight off the path. But now it's back to rinse and repeat all over again.
I do want to say one specific thing about this though, is that part of that time for you is being a business owner.
Yeah.
100%. I think there is not that it's deviation necessarily, but it is something that is self-driven, and that to me satisfies a lot to me. What
The line is counting. We're back to green.
We're back to green. We're back. We went away.
Yeah, I don't know what part was cut off outside of working for the man is a hollow existence.
being on Wi-Fi.
I know why.
And being on Wi-Fi.
It's your antenna. You gotta cut it off like Bender does. Da-da-da. Yeah, we're fixing things.
Yeah, back through.
Might cut out.
Maybe. Survey says.
Show me potato salad.
I don't know. Well, let's stay on Wi-Fi and keep on plugging through. So
I'm just gonna love that with this on YouTube, it'll just go silent for the last hour.
No, I think it'll just clip.
That just happened. We were watching it.
Oh, cool.
I was gonna say all the lip readers are just like yay, everybody cheering.
Now through it though, like at the risk of sounding like Marie Kondo, does that spark joy? Having that constant cycle, knowing that if situation in your circumstance doesn't change, you
Does it spark joy?
work this way until either you no longer work at your other job, or your company explodes and you can't do that, or you get so profitable that you can just.
Like you said, explodes in a good way, or
or
explodes
bad way.
and I get an insurance check for a lot of money.
Personally, I very much feel like that I advocate in my heart for like you spend so much time of your waking hours in a career position that like it should satisfy you to some degree at least.
Does it spark joy? Because it's so repetitive, and then also my job at my other job is repetitive. It's the same motion when you deal out, you do the same thing over and over, and it doesn't change.
Encore I can say is, but it's also your money maker too. Like you make a lot of money there. That's
Yeah,
why
I
you
don't
got
make
the
a
job.
lot. Yeah. It's true. Can't turn it down. It's too good.
But land drop is like the thing that you built yourself.
Right.
So you have some passion there.
Of course. Yeah, I've always wanted to own the shop like that. So, I guess, does it spark joy? You know what sparks joy? The when I'm down here during the week, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and my day off with Ashley. But
That's what I'm saying.
But the casino job, it's the other thing. It's there.
Leads to the end.
It's me. It helps me do it allows me to do things on like this and go to other places and hang out and travel to Iceland and stuff because I worked at Encore. If I didn't work at Encore, I wouldn't be able to probably afford a lot of that stuff.
So my previous career, I feel like I didn't realize what I had. It was like a day every day I had a career that fulfilled me, and then I came home and was also able to do the stuff that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like in retrospect, it's like holy fuck, that is such a rare thing, and I really miss it and want to find it again.
It's out there.
I think so, but it is sad. It is sad knowing fully that is like more rare than I thought it was.
Kelsey, your thoughts?
You like your job? Scale
My
1
new job, I do.
1 to 10. So
Well, I've been working for 3 weeks.
10. Okay.
Exactly. Ask me.
Your manager's watching right now, actually.
Ask me another 1% of my life.
Oh.
But I guess.
Scale 1 to 10.
But honestly, I look for the.
Gotta say a good grade because they'll watch. You'll see it.
In my ideal situation, I have a job that pays the bills, and then I have my time to myself. But I think that there's definitely that whole, like, you know, when you're young, work more, spend more time working, so that when I'm older, more time can be for myself.
Do it now while you're young and healthy, and you
Exactly.
can tolerate, your body can kind of tolerate it, because when you don't want to be doing it when you're 60.
So are you doing that for the entirety of your life? Like, how many years are you actually devoting whatever percent of it to work?
See, I weirdly have the opposite opinion of that, though, because I'm like, being young is the only time I can truly appreciate
Doing things.
Absolutely, but we don't have the money when we're young. We have to work for it, and
I don't
then
know,
we're
I've been-
old, and then we
I've-
can't do the things we wanted to do.
I've always only done the things I wanted to do, though. That's the thing. To my own detriment, maybe to some extent.
Don't rocket it.
You're the professional at this.
Just watch Tanner destroy a cork.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you.
Watch
So-
Tanner,
That's
right?
the whole idea of you save for retirement, the very conservative approach to life.
It is.
But I don't care about that. Really.
Buy silver.
Because we could all die in a car crash tomorrow. Then what was the point?
So
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I have a friend who her parents said to her, "You're our only kid, and we're not leaving you any money. We're gonna use it and live it up."
Fair enough.
Fucking damn.
But that's their choice, though.
It's like, this is what we earned, and we want to enjoy our lives. Like,
Isn't that the Meghan and Harry approach?
I think that's fair.
yeah, we were royals, but fuck you, little Archibald.
Yeah, we want. Well, the thing is, like, they could have had that super nice life, and they choose to. I mean, they still have probably a super nice life. I'm saying.
They're still
they could
Harry
have
and
a
fucking.
super nice life,
What?
not leaving
The-
money to their child.
So the irony behind it in that is those parents made a decision which will not just impact themselves, it impacts their children and their offspring. Like, they can't go and repetition and be like, you know, I'd really like to be like a royal heir, and whoever the fuck is in, you know, power at the time.
Queen the second.
Yeah, still the queen, because she's gonna outlive all of them.
She's only 90 something, right?
So
She's
cyborg.
she is a primal, so she's powered by faith.
She got a solid
Yeah.
20 years left.
I mean, she's already outlived most of them. So
She outlived Philip, her second husband.
first.
It's crazy how she's still.
That
No,
point
it's her
aside-
second husband, right?
No, it's the first. She's only been married once. You don't get divorced. You
No,
get dead.
no. Who was? How'd she
This
become
princess
queen?
died. How did she become queen?
Yeah,
She's at Eisenhower's inauguration.
I know that.
She's met most
And
presidents.
was she the only heir to the previous king?
No, there wasn't an heir prior, so it was like the niece. It was weird. It was like,
She a tutor?
I have no idea. Kelsey?
You're also. We're saying you don't give a fuck about the
Two
royal family.
comments. One, in that weird heir thing, I'm not going to go into it, but my family had rights. Second of all, we're like, I know we were talking about money, but that's definitely like a thing of like, you know, we want to devote time in our lives to making money to better fulfill our lives. I only devote time to my job because I want to enjoy my free time.
But your free time
But that hinders my free time.
But isn't your free time defined by that job, right? It's like it gets
Exactly. It's like it's a
catch-22,
yes.
kind of, yeah.
Which actually is a good segue into this concept that my boss has actually brought up in the past, and other
There it is.
bosses have said. The concept of inbox zero.
Inbox zero.
Inbox zero.
Okay.
You don't have anything pending in your email.
Okay.
You answer everything. Any requests come through. It is this sort of ideal state, theoretically, that you have completed all of the work and requests that have ever been given to you.
Ideal state of a paper pushing job.
Not even a paper pushing job, because I wouldn't say that I'm in a paper pushing job. I get to do a lot of like, people ask me questions and they're like, we want your opinion on things.
Mm-hmm. Comes through your inbox, though.
It does. But it also comes through Teams and like a million different ways to get a hold of me. The irony behind it is that it is this ideal that if you can attain this state, you can leave work at work. And then once you're done, there's no lingering dread of, shit, maybe I should have gotten that. Maybe I should have answered this. Maybe I should have just worked a little bit more.
Okay.
Do you think that that is either attainable, sustainable, or even worth pursuing?
Yeah.
Worth
I think
pursuing.
it sounds unhealthy when you said it to me. The only reason why I think it sounds unhealthy is because you carry that.
Oh wait, no. Sorry.
You carry that worry, that unnecessary worry that is work. Work will always be there, and work will be work, and you get it tomorrow morning. But if you bring that home with you, and you think, and you have that doubt, that regret, it just stays in the back of your mind when you should be with focusing on family or other things. So I don't know.
So I think I might be the only person to really truly have a project-based job in my history of the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a truly project-based job is the fucking pinnacle, honestly, where you have some level of creative job or, project-oriented job where you have a thing you work on, and when it's completed, that is your goal.
Mm-hmm.
So like many of your days, your weeks, months, maybe even, are
You
spent
still have a
working
time frame.
towards that project. Sometimes depends on the project too.
Any good project, I'll say outright, has a defined.
You want to know?
end.
Sure.
Is it missed frequently?
But hear me out.
But the goal is that it hasn't.
But hear me out. That like that project is the life you breathe, for sure. But also, it's very easy because you can only work at work. That it's there, and you leave it. You leave it when you walk out the door. You can't. I physically couldn't work on this thing when I walk out the door.
It's
So
funny.
that
I
I
literally
think
couldn't work.
I think that is a limitation of your job that's for it. Because like I'll tell you now, I've had projects
If you're
where
building
I
a
was
robot,
working, you take the robot home with you and work.
Wow.
Working in retail, I couldn't take that home.
no. If you're
I
exactly,
can only
sure.
work when I'm at my job.
So
But
not
literally,
all
like-
jobs have.
Well, how could you take the robot home if it's not even done yet? What do you mean?
Can you fuck
Parts
the
of
robot?
projects.
If you're one of 30 people working on the robot, I mean, like there's
So
clearly
You're getting
project
too
based
to
stuff.
fixated on
continue on it.
details.
yeah, you're focusing on like here's a singular physical item that I can't like. Yeah, I'm building a fucking propulsion system and I can't bring that home.
But
you
if it's a
can
sex
bring-
robot,
Secondly,
Home testing.
new QC. But no, like,
But my
there's
point
always
being-
an element to work that can be done outside of your place of employment, and that is something that
That's-
my boss has said repeatedly.
Somewhat ridiculous.
Is yes, it is, but that's something that my boss has always said is I do this, don't be like me,
mm-hmm.
because she finds value and actively enjoys the work that she does, and to a degree I do as well. But there's only a few nights of my career that I've had to be working like 20 hours in a day to go and get stuff done for it. And would I recommend that people do that all the time? No. It's unhealthy, it's unsustainable, and
But I don't mind doing that for something that I care about, though.
I'm saying that you shouldn't even do it then.
I don't agree with you because I care about it.
Because you set a precedent?
Hear me out. Sure, that's fine.
It sets a precedent so
But
that
like-
the next
but-
time you
but-
do it, they'll ask for 21.
My reverse of that is assuming it's my business, and it's like my business is like me and my two closest friends, we all co-own this business, and we're putting out something.
You talk about
Yes, exactly. So we're putting out something together, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're developing something we're putting out together,
like a podcast.
like a podcast. That project is our product, right? We make our living off that product. We don't this one, obviously.
You don't tell them that. Now they know we're poor.
Give us money, Carson Rich.
But what I'm saying though about that is that like that process is also a pleasure too, because we do it out of a passion, and that's sort of like finding really truly inherently finding passion in your work is something that seems grossly rare in
in nature, and probably statistically is fair.
I don't think that being energized or having that spark of joy through work is sustainable. All work loses that luster.
We do this podcast for free. We actually pay money for this podcast, all three of us.
You know, though, I might be airing with Travis a little bit, because for many years I was in a band and we did tours and we did shows, and the joy that you get when you're on stage and when everyone's rocking out to you and you're loving that artistic moment, but the work beforehand and the work after is a grind, and it became work. What became my love, passion, became, unless you're famous to have roadies and can do all this shit for you.
Exactly.
But even that, like the force to be the exterior forces to demand your creativity.
Right.
Like, sorry, you sign a record deal, you have 10 records to put out in a 12-year period. You put those out.
But if you could live off of it for real.
Oh, of course, right.
Like,
but I understand.
All gold loses its luster.
Right. Well, not silver. Well, gold might.
It's just there's consequences for every situation.
Sure, but is there more satisfaction in creating the thing that you really want to create in your life versus going and being an accountant for fucking travelers?
I have a question then. Okay, no, perfect question. One quick question.
Yeah.
For me, I would totally be the accountant for travel because I want a job that's a job.
Over painting for the same money?
Absolutely.
You'd rather be...
Because for me, painting would become work and I would no longer enjoy it. It's something I have to do. It's something that
here's my
is
question.
a labor, and I have to do it.
I love cooking. I will never, ever even consider being a chef.
I think
chaotic in that.
I think
you're like, I was like a prep cook and then a line cook.
But I think you're ignoring the artistic for the acumentable parts of it though. No. Because like.
But I paint in my free time.
And you are not bound by.
You could possibly be the wrong person to talk to.
Hypothetical.
Hear me out then. Okay.
Why am I the wrong person to talk to? Because I don't agree with you?
No. I mean like, but because you specifically associate with free time. Travis, hear me out. If you could like be.
That's okay. We're drinking Harvester because Travis.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I thought it was Carson still, so I went to take a swig, and then I looked at that, saw it was like a third of the way forward, and was like,
before we move on though, if you could travel and eat food for a living, and Bourdain style,
cheese and wines and
would that become so much work for you that you would want to stop doing it?
On a long enough period of time, yes.
I don't think I agree.
I think it is, because if that doesn't,
we're creatures that desire change, and repetition is raw.
So,
but
even going with that, what happened to Bourdain?
He killed himself, but he was a drug addict.
Okay,
why did
Williams.
Robin Williams depression and stuff? Like we may be drawn
so
to these deeply flawed individuals.
There's so many celebrities who don't kill themselves, though. It's like a bad.
No, but my point behind it is that there will always be a point in time.
That's what I wanted to say. Okay.
There will always be a point in time when the passion you get from work no longer exceeds the frustration and the pain that work presents to you.
But what if frustration and pain is the only thing you have from work? I feel like you're
missing. If you start at the opposite end, it's miserable. Like
that's what I'm saying. Is like most of the things you're talking about start sucking and only get worse. So like maybe
all things suck.
Maybe I'll get fucking tired of making movies or something. But like at least I cared about it at one point. Fuck.
Sure.
Like fucking most of the greatest artists of all time died still wanting to do what they did.
Now, counter to that,
most artists
what I wanted to say and bring up for a few minutes here
not true.
Is because you talk about artists, and even when they die early, they wanted to keep doing it. you have a perfect, at least my opinion, example of someone. If we have this conversation and Daniel Day-Lewis was here, and it's like you are arguably one of the best actors ever to live, and you walked away from it, like.
No,
like,
but like
willingly, like being at the top of your game, doing Lincoln and doing like all those roles, and it's like
Lincoln's not his best friend.
but you know what I mean. I'm just saying you are. If anyone says we're thinking of putting Daniel Day-Lewis in this movie, they're like, oh, it's gonna be a blockbuster.
Acting, you actually age out of kind of hardly though. It's like that's a kind of a hard example.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, was it the work that made it hit too hard, as you say, and it becomes a wall?
But
it's still his passion. But you're arguing it's still the art and the passion. What made him step away from such beautiful work?
Super fucking rich.
Is it that superficial? Is it really that hollow?
The position that I'm kind of getting from you on it is that it's either.
I think he would take a job tomorrow if the role was right. I think so.
I think you're retired from acting.
There it is. How much money is your time worth?
Not
like
not
the kid from Willy Wonka. He retired from acting.
So who's
the girl from Matilda?
Okay, those don't count. Who's
the girl from Matilda? Definitely.
Anyone who retires from acting as a child actor deserves to, and they should never have to do it in the first place. Because child acting is like a whole separate topic. Okay.
Watch the one last year.
It's a whole separate topic. Separate topic.
But throughout it,
it's the Harry Potter kids child actors.
Okay, who's the
yes, but most of them developed careers outside of it, with the exception of Rupert Grint, who decided to get an ice cream truck and then give it up.
Who's the greatest director of all time? Like if you dropped it quickly.
We're gonna have a left right cap show of director tiers.
No, it must be for a reason.
Rushmore.
Who's the obvious
in my head? First ones that come to mind is Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, Alfred Hitchcock, and
come on, the one that I'm looking for.
I know who you're looking for.
Tim Burton.
M. Night Shyamalan. No, give me a sec. Is Francis Coppola the director?
Sure.
Francis
Coppola.
Okay, Stanley Kubrick was what I was looking
for. Kubrick, sure, yeah.
But
Kubrick was an asshole who fucking tortured his people.
Sure. Okay.
For artistic purposes.
But all those directors.
No, Shelley Duvall never worked again because she was.
All those directors died directing, essentially.
So the position you're kind of making on it is either you're passionate enough to it that you don't stop, or you weren't passionate about it to begin with.
No.
It's either all or
that. You're putting words in my mouth.
No, but you're taking the position of, you either find passion and joy and continue it until you die, or...
his original, Jake's point, he said it earlier, he said it earlier, that even if you stop, at one point you did care about it enough to pursue it for X amount of time and use your time management towards it. So that alone has value.
What comes next.
That
no one is diminishing that value.
Okay.
The diminishing piece is what comes after.
Is that value not more valuable than being a fucking accountant when you don't want to be? That's what I'm trying to say.
I would say that
if you walk away from something you actually found your passion and pushed yourself to the limit that you could.
Some people like being actuaries.
Sure, but some people have a passion for it though.
That's what I mean. Like those people like being actuaries.
Yeah, fuck yeah for them. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
So is it the nature of work?
I'm saying it's following your fucking actual passion and not just fucking driving your dick into the ground. I'm not saying art's the only fucking path.
But the intention that's there and the point that I'm making, or trying to make for it, is that the nature of work is irrelevant. The passion you find from work is irrelevant.
I don't agree.
Because going back to the instance of the baker, that was just a means for them to achieve the happiness outside of work.
The half their life that they have left.
The less than half of their life that they have left.
Yeah. Okay, I follow.
Good for them.
So, do they live a better or worse life? Fully knowing that when it comes to in this concept of time management, that they're really just dedicating, I'm going to stab myself in the leg.
Is the answer subjective, or do you think there's an absolute truth?
I don't ask questions that have absolute truth.
Tanner, what do you do for a living?
Only a Sith does.
What do I do for a living? If you were to ask me,
I'm a stranger. What do you do for a living?
I would say I own my own business.
And that's how you define yourself.
I would say that you should never define yourself by your work.
But if you meet me for the first
time, I feel like if you're an actor, I'm an actor.
But it's
I'm a rapper.
But what you do for a living is often what some people lead forward.
Oh, some people say though.
I think the reason why is because that's most of their time.
I'm a mother first, and
then
I'm a father.
Living is make money. What do you do
and a
to
husband.
make money?
No, that's what
I do for a living.
Your job does not define who you are as a person. That's my point for it. So if someone says,
with that.
What do you do? Oh, I make a difference. I'm a mother. Because they find value in that, not only as part of their identity first, but also they may be unemployed and they don't have anything house for it, or they're a stay-at-home mom, or
I feel like that's more likely.
Possibly. But before we go into that, the overall question is kind of there for is that I don't think, or to answer your question, I don't think there's an objective answer for it.
So it's just based case by case basis.
Yeah, like what do you think?
Me? Which is, if you can find a way to find joy doing your passion in a job, that's amazing. That's the goal. I can't.
I didn't say that it wasn't the goal.
No. That would be like the ideal goal is to enjoy what you do at your work. For me, I don't think that I can find joy doing what I like to do personally.
Yep, I'll agree with that.
I agree with that too. Though.
I don't have the same level of excitement when I go to Magic tournaments
Yes.
now because I'm around Magic all the time at the shop, but also when I go to the vendors, I used to get very excited when I saw particular cards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care now. I don't. It's like I see them. I've seen them all the time. I know, and also when I see them in other vendors' cases at the events, that it's a $90 card. In my head, it's a $50 card. Because I'm taking it in at this price always. I never see it at a retail price. Only when I'm cashing it out. But it's only just for trade-in. So that's how I see that card. To me, is worth $50. It's not worth the 90. But to Travis, this card is worth 90 to him. So it's this weird like mental. We're experiencing the same card, which
brings us into.
Same
all
card.
Money is subjective. Cryptocurrencies are the future.
Kelsey, I agree with you though. I in no way disagree with you in anything you just said. Like,
I wasn't saying you were. I was just saying a thought.
No.
But what I'm saying is,
going back to what you just said, that like it's the goal, but like you can't reach that goal.
I didn't say you can't reach that goal.
No,
I said it. You said that you can't reach that goal.
I haven't said anything. I didn't even finish my statement.
Sorry, go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is that's the ideal, but for me, I can't obtain that. So I look for a job where I can devote a fixed amount of time to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take it home, and it pays the bills, so that I can then have my free time to do what I really enjoy. Because I can't figure out a way
like sitting on
to do
podcasts.
both. Yeah.
Your favorite.
But
and trivia nights.
But if you could find a way to combine your passions and your work and make money from it, like that would be the ideal.
That's literally what I'm trying. Literally,
I know.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
But that doesn't work for me.
I'm agreeing
That's
with
what
you.
I'm saying.
It's okay. That's okay too. I'm not saying it's not okay.
Well, yeah, but you're saying I'm the wrong person to talk to. But sure, I am because that's where I come.
So I used the wrong term. I didn't mean to that. I'm sorry. I mean to say that I agree with you that it is like this like idealism that I have in my heart. That like
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying for me it is.
Which comes back to it being subjective.
I have a crush. I think I have a crushing.
Exactly. There's not a right answer.
I think I have a crushing idealism in my heart that I've sort of applied to everything.
Saying that I
This
have a jaded cynicism.
a blind optimism.
No, I think I'm actually a cynic, but I try so fucking hard to hang on to my ideals, and it's like Leonardo DiCaprio on that fucking door, like.
Oh, there's a much better quote. I'm surprised he didn't go.
I'm ready to sink off that boat. What?
John Cusack once said, "I guess maybe I'm idealistic."
Pretty much.
It's just like.
So speaking of time management, let's adopt good time management.
Closing.
We're actually we're doing okay.
Well, there's also a second topic and a second.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a more topical thing that I wanted to talk all about time management, but
we still can.
Something happened earlier
Go
this
on
week.
first.
But before we go into that, Kelsey, did you have any closing notes before we move?
I'm so lost. Is this like some big fucking thing? I don't know.
No, I don't understand.
I will say
this week.
My closing argument is that I want
You
everyone.
said closing. Are you talking about the Supreme Court thing?
Yeah, we're gonna
more than that, but
okay.
All I
anything
want to
before
say
we
is,
move
yes.
on to the wine, because you were trying to say something and then
No,
everyone's
that I
talking.
did.
Okay.
All I want to say is
That's not like I don't understand.
I just want everyone to have the utilitarian max amount of happiness they can achieve in a life. That's all I want. And I feel like work is a way to get that, possibly. And that's what I want to.
Good job. My resume is on monster.com.
Indeed.
Mine is too.
No, yeah. I was speaking as you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. So, second wine of the night. First one was Carson Ridge, 7.5, 7, all around, very good. You're in A tier.
Salt cheese pairing 3.
Yeah, don't do that. Soft cheeses. Second one I got for the wedding is Harvester. Did you already try it?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Oh, we all did it once. That's right. And this was the other one I really liked, also from Paso Robles. On the back, want to see what it says? It says bright aromatics,
Might like it
ripe,
even better.
ripe red fruit flavors, silky smooth finish. So
More of a tannin wine, I think, actually.
I when I tried this one after this was the third and last one I tasted.
Still
The
good.
silky smooth finish is a very, very accurate description for that.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's no cotton ball medium
That has very specifically two flavors. This is like a very curvy,
Yeah.
very curvy flavor.
fruits. It
We
comes
got
and it
some,
comes
like,
back to
sine wave going
It
through.
comes back to
stuff.
comes back to a fruit at the end.
I don't hate it.
No, I really, really, really like this wine. I even mentioned it like directly to Travis. And Travis got hard and started thinking really like this.
Yeah.
But he's already had it, so fuck me.
There's not much dry to it.
No, not much. It's a little more fruit forward,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I probably liked it a little more than.
Mm-hmm. It's got a bit, almost a bit of like a sourness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Which I don't not hating on at all.
like if I had some like grapefruit sour
Mhm.
beer, and it kind of had this feeling to it or taste to it, I would.
Got a little bite to it.
You in thought?
So
The suspense is killing me.
I don't get a very strong fruit flavor on this, but I can't get over the fact that say like a silky smooth finish because it really is. It
It
just
does finish evenly.
yeah.
But
it's-
I definitely get grapefruit. I don't know why.
Yeah, I
That's
felt
my
grapefruit. That's why I
fruit.
said the
Mhm.
grapefruit
Mhm.
sour.
not high tannins, not a very
Medium bodied, maybe.
yeah, but it's like heavier. I mean, it's heavier than Carson.
So
But
the
it's-
nose is worse than Carson, but the flavor does not betray. Like the
Nose
flavor's
is
better.
worse. Like, and it's sharp.
The
Alcoholic.
nose is sharp,
Sharp.
alcoholic,
Oh.
acidic.
Mm.
Yeah,
Alcohol, real sharp. It's noticeably.
Kind of burns to the nose.
Yeah, stings the nostrils.
That nose is very good. This flavor, though, I will say, betrays the nose. The
Yeah.
flavor is much better than the nose.
So, grades and then prices, my friends.
This is definitely not the worst wine by a long shot, although we've ever had on this podcast.
Would
I'm
you-
gonna
would
give
you
it another
tr-
7.
Would you? I'm at a 7 as well.
See, I gave the other one a 7.5.
I gave that a 7.5 as well. But is it?
I'm gonna sip before I give it a grade. Don't smell it.
Honestly, like the nose isn't that like
It was-
hurts me
it
because
did
like I
almost
do
sting.
like. I mean, like I'm a fan of the bourbon cabs that are very boozy and have that very like strong alcohol.
These are so different. It's hard to give them the same grade, but I think you're kind of right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7. I mean, I want to say 6.5.
6.75.
I'll give it a light 7. A light 7.
A light
That's
7.
yeah.
Light 7.
A little dusting. A little light 7.
Yeah, like 6.9 repeating that we
Yeah.
round up to
Yeah.
a 7 because it's easier.
It finishes worse than that does.
I would
I don't
disagree.
know. I
I'd say that
disagree.
I say this finish is better, but I like if I had that dryness with this, I would enjoy that. I would enjoy this a hell of a lot more.
This one stays very much in its own lane. Well, that one has a more.
That's yin and
It's
yang.
yeah,
Well,
It's,
that's
it's
very-
fruit to dry, and it's
Yeah.
quick and abrupt, and to the point that your mouth is you feeling it. I'm not feeling dry, really, even after talking with you.
It's not super fruity either. I think it's like I said, got a bit of a sour, grapefruit floralness to.
I think the initial sort of I think you said it was like wavy and very accurate for it. Like it pivots from
It's kind of weird how flavor can do this. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it.
dry but sweet and then back and just sort of like goes out until it fades into
It's not-
nothing.
It's
not like-
weird that
it's not
like we
like-
have the same
Yeah.
imagery in our head when
Yeah.
we say it. It's like, oh, we didn't have to almost describe it because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I saw the same thing in my head when I tasted it.
It's not berry though. It's like
No, it's a different
It's a
fruit,
sour
but, like,
grape. It's a sour,
sour
fruit.
grapefruity.
What is
It says
what does it say on that?
ripe red fruits.
I could see like a raspberry or like a
Yeah, I
tart
can
kind
see a
of thing.
raspberry. Yeah, I can see a raspberry, but it's not like a cherry or grape at all.
No, I don't even really get grape on that.
No, it's like it wasn't made with grapes at all.
I don't know. I think the other piece that's a little
I
jarring
really like
from
the
it-
grapefruit. I really like the grapefruit.
Yeah,
as a
it does-
lead for it.
That's why I like Paso Robles.
Rose.
Robles, whatever.
I don't hate it. I saw. I get a
Carson is
nice
just
light
such a light switch that it's like
I-
fruit dry.
Other two,
Yeah, it's like
other
on-off.
two.
And you
I-
feel it. You feel it. It's like you can time it. You can go 1, 2, dry. It's
Okay,
that quick.
Of the
Tell you
two,
what.
that wine's more unique, I think.
At your wedding, if I see both these bottles open, I will probably pour myself a glass of the Carson.
Same. That's what I'm saying.
I have a third one downstairs too that also passed the test with these. You know, I thought it was pretty decent, so we'll have to try
We'll
that.
see.
Well, that's the mystery
Next
one.
time
You
on
can try
Dragon
it.
Ball Z.
Yeah, we'll just have to compare it to the others at the wedding.
But I do think that one is more unique to me. It's interesting.
Yeah, like
This
we'll,
one's good.
we'll
This
remember
one's good.
this.
This one's good, but it's not as memorable as that one is.
This is gonna go the way of like Gravel Bar or like
Gravel Bar,
Blackstone.
exactly.
That it's like, yeah, it was good. I couldn't tell you any prominent notes.
Mm-hmm. That
We'll
one
look
was-
at that and be like, that's
Mm-hmm. The light
Right
switch.
off
It's the light switch.
just sweet,
So
sweet and dry.
So now we're gonna do the price tag.
$11.99.
$8.99.
$12.99.
It's $12.99 on the dot. On the money, $12.99 before the discount.
Price
Oops.
per much better.
Much better.
Much better.
Oh sure. For
So I'm gonna stick with my 7.5 for that because I think that's like a solid answer.
Yeah, I wouldn't knock that down to 7. I'd keep this at about 7.
Yeah.
I would even, after having this and saying this is a 7, I could be like, I could say that's a 7.25, almost a 7.5, and agree with you guys for it. Again,
So it says superior finish, in my opinion, and that has
Yeah.
a more superior
I-
flavor
I'll
profile.
say that this is a
Flavor
more
profile.
balanced finish.
Sure.
Like you don't get a lot in either direction.
I think more people
But
would
it's
like this.
there.
Maybe I don't know. I think that was a.
That's a water slide. This is the lazy river.
That's a
where it's
Trojan-
kind of the
that's a
same
Trojan horse
throughout
Yeah.
the whole way
Mhm.
around the circle,
Yeah,
and that's just
that
so
is.
abrupt of like.
But it's
smashing
also
the
a
wall.
Trojan horse, though. It's like here's fruit. Ha ha.
Now you're eating sand.
Fruit.
Fruit. Ha ha. It's actually the new name of the wine.
Yeah, it's like if you see those cakes and you're like, oh look, mashed potatoes. Oh wait, no, it's cake.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, these are two of the wines. Carson Ridge, Harvester.
Good pick so far.
Very good. So I'm hoping the third one. I felt the third one was still in this
They both place,
arena that we would all like.
They both probably place in the upper 2/3 of our wines.
Yes.
I mean, I'll say outright A tier, B tier.
Mm-hmm. We should just switch to like letter tiers because I think the numbers don't make that much sense.
I mean, I feel like I need to just like rewatch most of these to go and actually get the hierarchy.
I think also we would change our votes at this point.
I mean,
If we like did like a full run of all the wines again, we'd probably
Maybe.
I think I'll still say Agitator's very good. I'll still say
Juggernaut.
that Juggernaut was pretty good.
Hall Ranch, baby.
All right.
Whole Ranch is recent though.
That sounds like a dressing.
I need you to calm down.
Oberon would be very good.
But
still.
I feel like some of those would be rated lower probably.
I don't think I'd rate Oberon lower. It tasted pretty
No,
much like a 3-finger jack.
I said some.
Uh,
Especially some of like the first half.
yeah, I would give
Travis threw out my Albertonis.
What
It was
about
trash.
what was that one with like the sciencey?
Oh, educated guess. That was bad.
I think we probably rated it lower
All right.
now because I think we got a 6.
Maybe I'll. You know what I should do on my drive home? Just put on old episodes, listen to them for the ratings, write them down, and should then have our complete list of
Don't
ratings.
forget to
Well
eat a
done.
cheeseburger and text at the same time.
and watch
You're
porn and
making-
masturbate.
Yeah.
But no, well, I'll make a list like here are Jake's grades, Travis, and so we'll have a sheet that we can maybe have a link to it in here, and people can see what each individual grades were,
Mhm.
and then the overall average grade of it, and then we can actually list in order, number
Mhm.
one wine down to the literally last wine,
The
I
ranch.
don't-
and then people can like go
Mhm.
through the list and buy them themselves instead of going through each episode.
The finish on that was like sickly sweet to me this last time I said it.
Did you drink all of it at once?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably why it's a sippy wine.
Yeah.
It's a sippy wine. You gotta sip it, cat. You can't chug that.
I want the other one again.
So, all right, going to the topic.
Back to you.
Two major things happened this week. The first, in a more timely kind of sense, August 31st marked the final pullout of U.S. forces in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 20-year war. I had dinner with a friend of mine who still active serviceman. He said that one of the kind of like ice-breaking things that they would say with new recruits is ask them like, oh, where were you during 9/11? And he said this past year, most of them said they weren't even alive. And that like struck him as odd. Or I'm sorry, they do that in like the fall, so last
Yeah,
fall.
it's a scary thought.
Yeah, and he's like, you are here and you didn't personally experience this. And he had some pretty strong opinions on the pullout for it. Gave credit where it was due, in the sense that he knew that Trump oversaw the largest troop withdrawal during it, moving from like 15,000 active servicemen to 2,500.
Mm-hmm.
And then the remaining 25 came out over the few days between the fall of Kabul into the 31st, which, you know, there's a lot of flack being thrown at Biden on it, and I am in no shape or form a fan of Biden or the milquetoast policies that he actually moves
I
forward.
would say one thing that combines all of us is that none of us are corporate politicians and fans, right?
Yeah.
That's like sort of the bridge that binds us all.
In the words of Sacco,
Corporate
those
democracy,
neoliberal
politics.
fascists are destroying the left.
It's
And when it comes to again, giving credit where it's due, Biden said, but you know what, I'm not going to make this, the next president in 2 years their problem. I say that because it's very unlikely that Biden will run again.
no.
So I give him credit for at least just ending it and kind of moving us away from this world police state. Do I think that the U.S. is less safe because of it? Probably. Do I think that that was an inevitable solution? Probably. Like there is no world in which we leave a small security force there and maintain the status quo.
Did you see the list? They had a picture of it with each image and a number next to it of how much we left there in terms of helicopters, trucks, guns, tanks. I think.
So as we just saw in a news report on our way to trivia, was the Taliban is upset that the U.S. sabotaged equipment that they left in Kabul before.
That's
they left.
funny.
Disabled.
funny.
Sorry. That said, we left a bunch of shit in every single country that we insert ourselves in and then leave. We leave a shit ton. I mean, for fuck's sake, we had burn piles that were killing our soldiers from toxic fumes because they were just dumping it and throwing it. Anyone could go through that after the fact and be like, time to go and just dig, shuffle through this and try to find some equipment that I could either sell or do something else for.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted that to be one thing to touch base on. The second is the concept of shadow dockets, which is, I think, the second title of this week's episode.
It is, yeah.
And what shadow dockets are is something that the Supreme Court utilizes to insert itself in a lower court ruling in the event that it has not actually been contested or challenged up to them. They will comment on something and say, this is the precedent in place. Secondly, it will also be outside of the general public. So what happened this week was Texas had a fairly controversial ruling that was challenged in the lower courts about banning abortions after 6 weeks. And the 5 Supreme Court majority conservatives, I won't say all of them, Chief Justice Roberts sided with the liberals on it because, again, there are liberal and conservative justices. And they said, you know what, nope, this is fine, this is good. This is such a novel concept that we will not comment on it, we will not take it up, and we will push it into being this is fine, we will let this stand. Now, people have commented and stated, because there is also an incentive element of the Texas ruling, that the state of Texas will give people 10 grand or up to 10 grand for narking on doctors and women who get abortions after 6 weeks.
It's fucked.
I'll tell you right now, if Greg Abbott were to say, I'll give 10 grand to anyone who narcs on a megachurch for violating COVID quarantine rules, the Supreme Court unanimously would have struck that down. There wouldn't have been this concept of, this is new, this is novel, we don't know where it's going to go, so we're not going to comment. The fact that you also have 3 justices who have less than 15 years of judicial experience
between them? Or
no, each.
Yeah, that makes sense. Between them doesn't make any sense.
No. But all 3 appointments were done in the past 3 years.
Kennedy.
No, it's Comey Barrett, Kavanaugh, and.
But they were judges for years, and their job is to uphold the
on
law.
average about 15 between. It's not uphold, it's interpret.
Or,
the law.
I'm sorry, interpret.
But the Supreme Court on it, its role is to, when lower courts do not come to a decision, or if parties say, this is wrong, we're going to contest this and go to a higher court. That's why we have appellate circuits. That's why we have a structure in place.
Yep.
These concepts are rather, I won't say bizarre, because there's precedent for the Supreme Court to insert itself in lower things, and it happened between Obama and Bush 4 times.
Okay.
In total, between the 16 years of presidency.
Okay.
In Trump's 4 years,
So this is not a power that's being abused, in my opinion, at that point, right? If it's
in
only
Trump's period, they inserted themselves 43 times.
the Supreme Court.
Yes, with these 5 justices making that decision. That is a power being abused.
Set up there, Tanner.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I
No,
do
but
think there is precedent.
Well, I said
to
that
insert
before
itself.
knowing the Trump number, so.
Yes,
Mhm.
but that goes and shows you, 4 times over 16 years. Cool. That is less than the amount of times that a Republican won office despite losing the popular vote.
It's less,
So-
that was less than once a year.
That is once every 4 years. 4
That's
times
very-
over a 16-year
I know,
period.
and that's what I'm saying.
Uh,
43 times over 4 years
Years.
is 10 times a year.
closer to 11, but yes. And that goes to show you that. Do I think that the Supreme Court has been
Politicized.
hyper politicized? Yes.
More so than before, which it already was.
So I said it previously that I think that it's a falsehood and a flagrant disservice to our judicial branch of how politicized it's become. And when you see those numbers about the Supreme Court inserting themselves with a conservative majority, almost, what is that, 400 times greater per year?
Well, yeah. I mean, 11 times per year versus
Once every 4?
a quarter of times a year.
Yeah.
But
that
so-
to me.
But is it a problem
It's
No, keep,
hold on, my question.
it's
Sure,
50 times
sure.
the amount.
Is it a problem? Because if that's essentially the will of the people, if the country is tilting more a certain direction politically,
How still the people?
So I'm gonna go
I get-
before that
the
goes
will of
on.
the people vote in a president.
Yeah,
that
they don't vote for shadow dockets.
No, they vote in a president who they know are going to nominate court justices that they approve of.
That's not.
They
really-
don't actually.
No.
So Supreme Court justices or the nominees for them are actually aggregated by lobbying groups.
I
So
understand that, but when
moving that forward, so it's
They're
the
also
private
not,
sector.
they're also
mandating.
not on a campaign.
it's not that.
Secondly,
No.
Supreme Court justices.
Every president is always asked, if you're elected, who are your nominees for Supreme Court? Who are
Sure.
you do
Yeah.
stuff, and people vote that way. And more often than not, the people that person names tends to get thrown into the hat, the ring, to their name to the hat.
I'm going to refute that claim very quickly. When in most Gallup and Quinnipiac polls that were issued out, Supreme Court nominees weren't even in the top 20 reasons for voting behind a candidate.
I understand it's not above jobs, it's not about wars, it's not above borders. I understand all this stuff, but it is on a list of.
What
It is
percent-
something that people consider.
What percentage do you think of the voter base even knows the?
Even on that, I won't even get behind it. I don't think it's the will of the people because Republicans have continuously lost the popular vote
And still,
for almost every. I mean, for fuck's sake,
sure.
Tobey Maguire
How
was
about-
still Spider-Man the last time that. That. There is some fun facts for you. The last time a Republican won the popular
I
vote.
understand. You get LA and New York, and they're always going to go blue.
But
so
then how do you
always,
say the will of the people? It's the will of the Electoral College, which is
Not-
quintessentially not the will of the people.
Also,
It is
secondly,
the will of the land.
too, a big
You
thing
have,
is
my argument to that is cultures are affecting
Yeah.
that vote. The culture of San Francisco or the LA is going to
Doesn't
be different
matter.
than the culture. Of course it is, because the culture.
Then
as a
don't
whole-
use the
people
term the
vote-
will of the people, because the will of the people is the popular vote.
but a Supreme Court justice died under Obama, and we never replaced him under Obama. We had to wait until Trump was elected too. So the vote actually doesn't matter. It's about political gaming.
Which
Yeah.
again, I despise the fucking turtle that Mitch McConnell is,
But he's good at it.
but he understands
Mhm.
politics.
I agree.
And he is very.
He knows
apt
how
to
to play the
grip.
game.
He does. But that goes to show
Doesn't
you
mean
when
the game
people
is
talk
good,
about.
though.
Well, I mean, I've said repeatedly that I'm in support of stacking the Supreme Court on any party. I don't care if it's Republicans doing it. I don't care if it's Democrats doing it.
Because it calls out the ludicrousy of
of the concept of any lifetime appointments. Yes.
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
Because every single seat in the judicial branch is a lifetime appointment.
So
But
would you be
Scalia
upset with term limits?
I would be. I am pro term limits.
Instead
on
of
just
instead of
about
stacking, you keep the
Yeah.
same amount of. That's what it is. But you get every 8 years you're out.
I would do 12. I would give more time than any
I
one
want-
president could sit in office.
I want both the House and the Senate to have term limits too, though.
Oh sure, I'm with you.
Sure.
Okay.
Any elected
Okay.
official
Yeah.
should not shift from serving the people.
Again, we are all against career and corporate politicians. I think inherently.
Yes.
I don't know. I do like Elizabeth Warren.
I mean, I like Bernie Sanders, but
But
if my trade-off for Bernie Sanders,
Elizabeth Warren was a Republican most of her life.
if my trade-off for
Here's
Bernie
the
Trump
Sanders,
was a Democrat.
Exactly. But like that was to show you that people can change. I've never appreciated, cared, or even entertained this concept that like, oh, they're a flip-flopper, they're a bad politician. It's like, no. When presented with facts or popular opinion, you should be able to change your
I
position.
have changed my position on many things in my
because
life.
they don't care about your feelings. This one.
Yeah, I've changed many positions.
So I never
Become more
understood.
liberal on some and more conservative on others. So sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. But like that goes to show you that this whole setup of Trump was a Democrat throughout most of his time, despite the fact that during that period he was also publicly declaring we should go murder these 5 kids who were then acquitted for a crime of which he then said, nope, I stand by it. They're guilty. They should have been killed.
What was the
Central Park 5
Park Five?
took out a full-page ad and said, kill these kids.
These black kids.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Rape of a white woman in Central Park.
Not to be confused with the Memphis Five,
Correct.
which is the same story basically, though.
Why do they name them that way?
Because there's
Because it
5
happens
of
in a
them.
park and there's
There's
5 people.
There's 5 of them. Memphis
No,
5
but
is-
like that the town and then the number.
Memphis 5 is the same, and they also were like.
No, I
eventually
understand it,
acquitted.
but why did that structure of a name?
No, because names of people oftentimes get forgotten. The titles and
Unless
things
you're,
like
unless
that.
you're the Ted Bundys of the world or the Jeffrey Dahmers.
I mean, sometimes
One of them,
you just have to take a bite
Yeah,
out of life.
Jack the
They're
Ripper.
doing.
you watched Midnight Gospel. And
Yeah.
one of the Memphis 5 is the magic guy.
It's Damien Eccles.
Mm-hmm.
Were they acquitted?
That's my favorite episode.
It's mine too. It's one of my favorites.
He actually was in jail and then was dismissed afterwards.
After
That's
like
nuts.
25 years or something though.
I mean, he didn't come out like blaming them.
But can you imagine being in jail for 25 years and then being like, oh wait, you didn't do this?
The
I'll
amount-
take that big check, please. Thank you, state.
Unfortunately, that only exists in blue states.
And,
Right,
Okay.
so
Tennessee,
the average
he was
payout
told
in
to fuck
Tennessee, he was told to fuck off. There was a case in Missouri where a man was incarcerated for like 35 years, and then the woman came out and said, like, actually, no, it wasn't him. After DNA evidence was eventually discovered at some point, and they're like, yeah, it turns out it wasn't him. They let him go.
well,
He tried to go and sue for, false imprisonment, a whole bunch of violation of his rights. The state said, nope, we're just going to purge your record. That was it. Most of his life was stolen.
congratulations, you're free.
Most of his time.
We owe you nothing.
The majority of it. And
You're not.
that
You're not. You don't have a right to liberty.
If only there was something that enshrined that.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that then moving away from how state governments, I don't think, represent the will of their people either. The concept of a representative government is that we know that these things will not always be right 100% of the time. And it won't always put our best interests ahead of it 100% of the time. I don't think there's any way to function in a globalist society like we live in now.
Okay.
Where that's viable. Where some reduced peace is a viable alternative.
So let me try to find peace with you two here right now. Can you, because I can you name if there was a Republican running, I think you've already said your answer before, but a Republican running in 2024, who would you, who's a Republican you would vote for?
Well, I've already said I would probably not vote if it was or I wouldn't vote for the president.
I know you like
would vote for
barring
others.
barring Warren and Bernie maybe being the two that are the candidates.
No,
Because I know you vote for Warren over whoever, but
I would be probably still okay with a Mitt Romney versus Warren piece, and I would be like, you know what? I trust both these assholes. They're generally fine.
Yeah.
Um,
so you would say
Didn't
you
Mitt
could see
Romney
yourself
run
voting for Mitt
for
Romney in an election.
Mitt Romney ran against Obama, and the thing that hamstringed him not only was the comment about his binders of women, which Democrats pounced on, but he also was running with Tim Ryan, who was like a firebrand. He eventually became Speaker of the House. He stepped away from politics.
Paul Ryan.
Thank you. Tim Ryan is the guy from Ohio.
Yeah.
Who is a Democrat? Is a Republican?
He's a
I don't
Democrat,
really know what he is.
I know who you're
I think he's a
talking about,
Republican,
though.
actually.
Is he?
Yeah, like he looks like the dude who sings "God Bless America."
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He's a Republican.
Cause
Yeah.
it's brown to be
But yeah,
So you would do Romney.
I would go Romney.
Okay.
I don't like Crenshaw.
I know you don't like
I'm a
him.
bit of a Romney fan.
I think if you give him a listen to it, like in interviews, he's on a Joe Rogan podcast where they just talk about stuff. And
Joe Rogan fucking takes horse to war.
I know, but
and thinks that like
How many
I'm not-
times are you gonna say that though, Tim,
I'm
about
saying-
somebody like, oh yeah, this one thing that's really not great.
how many of
Go with
those
that.
one things are needed
what I'm saying
to
is,
demonstrate trend?
what I'm saying is, you still listen to a conversation and
Sure.
Q&A and views of bids. I think you.
Sure. I despise Jordan Peterson, but I will typically watch something that he's in
I
just
love-
to either prove my point right.
The word despise.
I love watching him talk
I
to
don't
Stephen
think-
Fry.
I can't
I
despise.
love him talking to Stephen Fry.
Despise is a rough word.
No, because it's not hate. It isn't like
No, it's more vile than hate.
No, it's not.
Because
it's
he
not.
himself
It's
actively-
ideological. Despise is ideological. I feel like.
I feel as though he
Hate
does
is
more
emotional.
harm. He does more harm to the general populace with his words and ideals that he masquerades as good ideas or guides of living than he does good.
I strongly am on the complete opposite end of that.
Any nutritionist, will tell you that you cannot survive on
A meat diet.
whiskey, steak, salt.
I understand that, but
That
that
Ron's one.
I've been
but
trying.
no,
but-
it's not like.
Jake the vegetarian is like, I'm trying.
let me ask you something. Or let me
Just
say
cut the
something.
meat with salt and
If you
whiskey.
bring up Jordan Peterson to somebody,
Sure.
the first thing they're not gonna think, oh, the steak guy.
No, they're going to
Like
think the transphobic dude who was a university professor.
He's
And yet,
literally not
weirdly enough,
transphobic, but he's literally not.
The element
He's
behind
not. He's
it-
called trans people by their preferred pronoun at a.
the
when-
difference is that
There it
he's
is. That's
not
the only indication.
No, it's not.
Trans.
No, but that's the whole issue he's under. But it's
No,
he
the-
didn't
the
want
issue that
government
he's-
to do compelled speech. That's fine. It's okay to be against compelled speech, no matter what it is. No
Then
matter what it is.
the irony behind it is go have Jordan Peterson go up to a collection of African Americans and call them all N-bombs, or like throw racial slurs at them and be like, they're just words.
What are you talking about?
So the concept of saying like
That's him.
he doesn't want to be
That's him
compelled.
purposefully.
So if someone were to tell him,
the aggressor.
if the state were to say racial slurs or hate speech is not protected speech and will implement a fine if you say these things.
Oh, okay, then
That's
yeah.
kind of the truth about Canada. It's already the thing.
Right.
It is the case, though.
That's
You-
not free speech to me. So what-
U.S. law doesn't mean shit in a different country.
I understand that.
Jordan Peterson's a Canadian.
Canadian citizen.
Right, I understand that. That's why I'm saying I think that ridiculous. I think you should be able to say all speech is permissible, every single thing outside of the literal. we talked about this.
Not outside of anything.
We have talked about call to actions. We have agreed on that, and the Supreme Court has agreed on that, and that's fine.
The
But
previous
every-
president of the United States back on that.
Every
He did not.
other what do you mean?
Donald
Yeah.
J. Trump.
Yeah, he was found not guilty by the Supreme Court of doing a call to justice or
Right.
call to action,
There was no Supreme Court ruling on the January 6th piece because it was struck down in the Senate.
or whatever.
No investigation was.
What is
presented by
it?
the
That, it was in the
government.
news. No. Look this up. I can't. It
Sure.
was a court.
It did not go to him. The legal defense around it was not actually in case. Yeah.
No, there was an actual something deemed Trump innocent of. God damn it.
The only cases that came up out of that, I think, were based on the election integrity that he was making and his concerns about having a voting audit, which overwhelmingly, I think 99% of them were thrown out even before they reached state level Supreme Courts.
Oh, I'm sorry. The FBI. The
Cool.
FBI says scant to zero evidence the U.S. Capitol attack was instigated by Donald J. Trump.
Okay, Washington Post, which is like a fucking pretty ready rag, was like, Trump said to do so.
Accounts of the rioters. That's like just ridiculous. No.
Why did you?
Wait,
Why did you siege the Capitol? Oh, Trump told me to.
He didn't tell me to though.
But he did tell me to.
Like-
So let's also, who's the head of the FBI currently who oversees the investigations and makes the determination?
What's his name there?
Christopher Wray.
Wray, yeah.
Who appointed him?
Doesn't matter. Trump's out of office.
Sure.
Doesn't matter now. He could have said, yeah, just to please his current boss, Biden, or whatever.
Again, we don't give a shit about Biden. No one here is defending Biden. No one is.
Agreed.
Right?
No one.
No one's
I'm not
defending
keen on
Biden.
this milquetoast person, but in the same token, it was the
I
only
was,
way to go
I was
and
pretty
see.
shocked when I saw him sleeping with in the Netanyahu.
You see,
Have you ever seen Netanyahu? That man fucking bores to death.
It's not that. It's just he's
entire crowds.
gone. It's
He's
like,
also
whoa,
not even the
there's
prime
like,
minister anymore.
It's not that. It's just there's live cameras in a press room full of people, and you are sleepy Grandpa Joe right now. It was pretty rough to watch. Like I can see why I don't know why a country would be like, oh fuck that softy over there. Like
The irony behind it is that it's AP News denounced him.
all I see is innocent, acquitted.
It's the impeachment trial after whether or not he investigated it.
Yeah, I know. It's
not
just
the
constant
quiz.
innocence.
Yeah, you see
Across
acquitted
the
because I
board.
look for the word acquitted. What do you mean?
Constant.
I literally
All right,
hold on,
move-
going
moving
back.
outside
I
of this.
googled Trump acquitted. Oh wow, you see the word acquitted. Weird how that works out.
Yeah,
I
but I'm
Googled-
seeing that.
Because acquitted is one of the search
No,
terms.
There were two search
It's
terms,
not
and
that.
one was
I'm
Trump.
saying the word acquitted, also the word found innocent, like all over and over and over.
That
again.
is, so also being
But
acquitted
it
is
is not the same. I understand. Woo!
It's safe.
It's down your hand.
It
Man,
is.
lick your salty hand. Oh no, salt with that doesn't work good, right? Oh no, it's the other one.
Yeah, that's actually we didn't try this one.
So,
That's
anyways,
salty cheese.
Texas.
Yeah. So when it
Te-
comes
yes.
to Texas,
Texas.
my concern is not only about the fact that, actually, I mean, it won't even be my concern. Chief Justice Roberts, a Republican-appointed Supreme Court justice, sided with the 3 remaining liberal justices and said that this should, in essence, never have, the 5 justices should never have gone through and said this. And now, if you look at one of the headlines around it, it's the Chief Justice has lost control of the Supreme Court. And that a collection of 5, I won't say uber conservative justices because Kavanaugh sided with liberals.
Are you basically saying rogue? They went rogue or not?
Yes, that they circumvented the Chief Justice's explicit orders and published a unsigned opinion.
Unsigned majority.
But what you're saying isn't shocking me because people in these positions of power do corrupted things all the time. It's almost inevitable.
But why are you what
Well,
the fuck
why
is
are you-
what is wrong with you defending the corrupt shit? Like,
No,
I'm not surprised.
saying,
It's a
saying
good
acknowledging
thing.
something exists doesn't mean defending it.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yes, it is.
No,
Well,
It's the
no,
way
actually.
you are framing it, at least. I think.
No, I said it's not. I said it's not surprising that corruption happens at the highest
But-
points of levels. That's a logical,
So,
objective statement.
I really
I'm
doubt
not
it
saying it's
because
good.
I don't.
I'm not saying I'm
Well,
down with it. I'm
well,
saying
what
it exists.
What I'm saying is that's a
that should be
clear
a
and
point
severe
about-
issue.
Yeah, that it should invoke greater outrage.
It should.
Yeah.
It
Lots of
won't,
things- it
because
won't.
Americans don't give a shit. Because
Yeah,
I'll tell you
it's
right
not
now,
flashy. It's not. It's
Anyways,
boring. Get a little bit when you
the
get
Kavanaugh, the Kavanaugh or the hearings to
But rallying outside the White House, he unleashed a mob of supporters to fight like hell for him at the Capitol, just as Congress was certifying Democratic Joe Biden's victory.
He sent him to go fight like hell. Like this is like.
He did say
Crazy.
that. I see. There's a video of him saying, "Fight like hell."
go and take back your country, go do like
Yeah.
the fact that
Like half a mile down the road from where they were doing it, and they went and stormed it. How is that not a CTA?
I get it. I understand his perspective. From his perspective, a guy who got multiple events of 76 people won the presidency, where he was selling out arenas. So to him, the numbers don't quite add up. So
it's very easy to sell out an arena in Kennesaw, Georgia,
A small portion of the population.
or it's very easy to sell out an arena in fucking a deep
You know,
red part of
Kanye,
Kansas.
Kanye always sells out arenas. How many votes did he get?
I'm actually good. Do we have a number?
Fucking suck it.
Is there a number?
He didn't even get to.
He got like less than 2%. Yeah.
Oh, that's the 2%. I didn't know.
No, I mean, he wasn't on the ballot nationally. But
He did get a number though. He got
my joke was that he didn't get to because Kim didn't vote for him.
no. He got a number.
Well, I have concern about, this man instigating riots. I'm more concerned about the people who are like, heck yeah, let's do it.
So
That's a number of people who think this is all a good idea. That's concerning.
the irony behind it, though, is that
The liberals
if
also
you
rushed
ask-
the Capitol during Trump's presidency
I'm
and
not
burns
just-
the lawn down. So like,
I'm not
or
saying
the
like
park, or the park,
Republicans,
whatever.
liberals. I'm very, whatever. I'm like just crazy freaking people
the
on
irony,
either side.
So I don't remember which one of the
Not
founding
every
fathers came here
Republican
and
showed
said
up. Not every
Hey, I like that
Republican
person.
was there. What?
Joe
it.
Jorgensen.
Joe Jorgensen.
Oh.
But to quote one of the founding fathers, and I'm going to misquote it terribly.
We'll power through.
So we got
Is-
106,000.
To paraphrase one of
Yeah, to paraphrase one of the founding
Trying to
fathers
get
on it.
106,000 votes.
Good for you, Connie.
Well, Jorgensen can get that thing more.
Delightful.
What did she get? 1.6 billion or something? 1.5 million.
People are always viewed as crazy and terrorists by the oppressive systems above them. When they succeed, they're viewed as like freedom fighters and revolutionaries.
All I'm saying is
What is it? Tyrants will always
Always
grant.
It's the opening quote in my book. You brought it up, buddy.
well, that was left right cab.
All patriots have one thing in common: that they're labeled as traitors by tyrants.
So in the same token, if they were successful,
We're at an hour and
He
42
He's
just
a
minutes.
alley-ooped me in, and I just was like,
Well,
"Slam
well,
dunk!" It's the
well,
opening
well,
quote
yeah,
of my
alright,
book.
so now with that
Perfect.
same very shameless self-plug, I think that's a good way to round things up. And to quote me an hour and 42 minutes ago, woof.
Woof.
Yeah.
That was Left Right Cab. These are the wines. Buy them. They're both delicious.
They're great.
Yeah, buy fucking Carson Ridge. Phenomenal for the price point. Like that's, if I look at like Best Buy
All right,
value
$9.99.
for it, right there.
phenomenal if you don't like
It was $9.99. If you bought 6 or more, it was 15% off.
Kelsey,